Oh man, it feels great to be behind the camera again, guys. 2 weeks of vacation, and when I'm on vacation, why does always audio products have to come out when I'm gone? And better yet, why wasn't I aware of this? But anyway, guys, on another edition of the Technoid Audio Reviews, we are back at it again, but this time we're heading back to the over-ears, and it feels really good getting back into over-ear reviews because today we have a pair of over-ears from our favorite company, Soundcore, but this time they have a brand new over-ear that not only replaces their current model, but will be starting a brand new line, and also I think to date is the best over-ear they have to offer. But there is a couple things you need to know, but we'll talk all about that in today's episode. So let's get right into it. This is the Space Q45. You need a review. I'm your man. Let's get it going. So the Space Q45 is of course already, as I said before, a follow-up to the Q35s, but there are a lot of improvements here, and one area in particular that Soundcore isn't really promoting or talking about as much, which we'll discuss later on in the review. So starting off, the first thing we have to discuss is the design. Now, right out of the box, based on the first looks in comparison to the Q35s, you can automatically see the difference for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. These things not only are an advancement of what this is, but this takes it a step further and makes them more premium. Now, that was one of the biggest complaints with Soundcore's over-ear products. While they have the specs, they have the battery, they have everything, the biggest thing that they were always lacking on every year was the design and build quality. The Q35s did a great job of improving on the Q30s, but the Space Q45s take the Q35s and basically said, you know what, we're gonna go all in, and that's exactly what we get here. So for starters, we get a nice little array of design, which has a little bit more, about the same, slightly a little bit more heft to it. Now, the base of the model is of course all plastic, but with a few aluminum hinges, which is actually very, very good. So it is a lot more durable and a little bit more future-proof. But also we see the ear cups have a brand new material, which in my opinion are 10 times better than the Q35 ear cups. They are nice and soft, they're padded, they feel great. Now, one of the other things we also notice is that the hinge mechanism is more, I would say, smoother, whereas this one is more, you can hear the clicks, and also it's more seamless. Another thing that they've also tweaked are the buttons and the charging port. So this time around, the play and pause, the volume up and down are on the right, and then on the left you have your power and noise canceling, and then if you double tap it, you can do what you want. And then lastly, to sum it all up, at the top it has a nice little padding at the top, which is a lot more sturdier. So when it comes to the build quality, and also just before we go any further, they also throw in a nice little case, and it has better material than the Q35s. So overall, when it comes to the build quality, when it comes to the design, it is an improvement over the Q35s, but basically it's about the best that we've ever seen Soundcore at this point. So very good job on that end. Now, when we talk about the tech specs, this is where we start to see Soundcore really shine in their elements. So for starters, this not only contains a 50-hour playback time, but you can extend it by turning the ANC off to get you 60 hours, which is wow, that's actually really insane. But it also has Bluetooth 5.3. It supports high-res audio and high-res audio wireless with LDAC support, which we will get to in a moment. And lastly, it has 2 microphones with AI enhanced calls, so it helps to blur out the background and give you better microphone pickup. So that really is the tech specs. And of course, if you want me to throw it out there, it has a headphone jack. So headphone jack is still around in 2022, heading into 2023. Now, when it comes to features, it does have, of course, active noise canceling, but this time it is now touting a new active noise canceling system, which is similar to the Liberty 3 Pros, where it is adaptive. It'll adapt to your environment, it'll adapt to your background, but also it will adapt to any environment, and you can customize it to your liking. And it has a brand new feature that they're touting, saying that it has a strong targeted noise canceling with a 3-stage target system. Again, this is just the way that they're blocking out the noise, and it does actually do a decent job because in comparison to the Q35s, it's night and day. they block out so much more, and a majority of that does have to be with the ear cups designs because they're more sturdier and premium, but also they fit onto your ears with very little clamping force, and they just feel snug and beautiful. Now, it does also have a transparency mode, and it has different arrays you can customize again, as I've mentioned, and then if you turn it all off, you can just get your normal average sound. Now, in comparison, the Q35s do have that, but they're very limited in targeting and also being able to customize and adapt. Sure, you get a few arrays, but it's not really that much, and honestly the transparency is a lot better on the Q45. So overall, when it comes to active noise canceling and transparency, definitely a huge improvement. I think that's the best that I've seen so far from Soundcore on an over-ear. But of course, we get to my favorite part of these videos, which of course is the sound quality. Now, as you know, sound is subjective to everybody. Everybody has a different hearing profile. So for this review, I am going to give you guys a couple of sound samples with my personal EQ. And of course, we will talk more about it after this. So one of the biggest things that I was hoping for was Soundcore really going off about the sound quality, which they really do make a little bit of a tout about with the high-res sound with a double-layer diaphragm driver, which is basically very similar to what's already inside of the Q35s, but with a different second layer to add more clarity to your treble and your mids. Which that's exactly what these things are. They're basically the Q35s, but with a more enhanced and refined tuning. However, though, there is one area that I noticed that Soundcore is really known for that's almost non-existent: bass. Now, one of the biggest things about Soundcore products is that the bass is always deep and pronounced. It's never muddy, but it's never also held back, but it doesn't oversaturate your music. It has a V-shaped profile. This time around, we're not getting that. It actually, matter of fact, the Q35s, in my opinion, out of the box, they actually sound a lot better, and the bass on there actually is not as bad as the one on here. So I would argue from a sound perspective, I actually prefer the Q35s over the Space Q45s. But I do appreciate that Soundcore is retuning and refining their audio, trying to make it more precise and detailed as possible. And it's not terrible either. It's a great sound profile. But I'm a little disappointed though, because, not because of the bass, but because Soundcore hasn't really made a lot of buzz about their sound quality. I mean, we've always known what Soundcore stood for, but I don't know. Kind of weird. Alrighty, couple things to do and talk about before we end the video is, of course, the app support and a microphone sample. Now, of course, with all Soundcore products, they do have app support where you can get your firmware updates, you can upgrade everything. And one of the biggest things using the app is, of course, enabling LDAC. Now, LDAC is only available on Android phones, so you will be seeing me use an Android in this video. And one thing I also noticed again is that LDAC is actually not even out of the box installed. You have to download the profile and then you can enable LDAC on your Android, whereas the Q35s, it just came pre-installed and all you had to do was just switch LDAC on and that was it. But I do notice that with both of them on LDAC, I will say that I did notice that the Q45s had a better in terms of Bluetooth connectivity, because sometimes it does jump in and out. It was more stable and they honestly did a great job, but the Q45s were a little bit more stable with LDAC. So that's just my opinion. But on non-Android devices, it supports AAC and of course a whole array and others. Now, with the app support, you can customize them, and again, it just, with every Soundcore product, it takes the product and it elevates it to a new level. And when you pair this up with the app, again, like I said, it is mandatory. You must get the app. It does wonders, and I'm telling you guys, it does more wonders than KSI promoting your headphones at a boxing event for a 2-for-1 special, which, by the way, though, I love KSI, so there you go. So overall, what do I think of the Space Q45s? Well, listen, guys, if you're a Q35 user, if you are in that area of people that have the Q35s, I wouldn't necessarily say you shouldn't get it, but I don't also see any reason to jump right away. If you want better active noise canceling, if you want a better fit and design, you could make that argument, but in terms of sound quality, they're very, very marginal, and I would argue that the Q35s are just slightly a little bit better with a little bit better bass, but there are a lot more things here that they've improved on and worked on, and I really like the fact that Soundcore has gone all in on their over-ears. This is exactly what we've wanted to see from them for such a very long time. We always knew that Soundcore was capable of making a premium product, but it just came down to whether or not they could do it or when they were gonna do it. And now it seems like they are finally pulling the trigger, and for $150, and that's still not even breaking the bank. Anyone that thinks that that's expensive, I don't know what else to say, but it's incredible. I would even argue that the sound quality on this can compete with higher end headphones like the Sony and Bose, and even the AirPod Max, which I mentioned I was gonna talk about. While the AirPod Max does have the best sound quality on over-ears that I've ever used, I've compared them to every one of them, these things can go toe-to-toe with it. That's how good the sound quality is. But of course, nothing is perfect. There are my negatives. I think the first negative is that you don't need to jump for them if you're a Q35 user. I also question the long-term support, because one of the things I noticed with Soundcore products, and just something that I've noticed, even though they support so many products, they release so very few firmware updates, and the only products that get frequent firmware updates are more of their premium end of the line products. But I don't know, I haven't received too many for these, and I don't know if we're gonna see too much, but they will probably release the first initial ones and then go out. But also my last negative, and something that's more of a nitpick on the marketing perspective, I don't know why they're not touting the sound quality as number one. It seems that Soundcore is heading in a direction where they care more about features and versatility over their sound profile. And I think that that's a mistake on their end, because Soundcore has become a company that's accustomed to audio. They have become almost a standard now of people that want high-end sound for half the fraction of a cost, but it's becoming reliable and a sound profile that you can always trust. So I hope that Soundcore really doesn't go all in on features and things as their main standout for the marketing. Get back to the basics, focus on your audio, because these things deliver, and that should be the forefront. High-res, exceptional audio, noise canceling and battery features, that's other. But again, guys, overall, these things are just a huge improvement over the predecessor, but the predecessor does have some things that you may want to consider if you want to save some money. But overall, the Space Q45s are a home run, and I cannot deny it, guys. These are a great pair of headphones, and I'm definitely going to keep these for the long run. So that's it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that I missed, please comment them down below, and I will definitely follow up with a comment, and I will give you guys updates. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, you can hit the dislike button. That helps circulate my views as well. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe, have a good day, and peace.